Bryan Gabriel from Washington State, age 39. Started actually helping patients and even before that hooking people up with product probably when I was like 23, 22, and then started growing cannabis around when I was like 25. The law was around forever. My grandfather, I was born in California, and my grandfather passed away, and at his funeral we basically went back to his house for the party after the funeral, and we were all sitting around a table, and my grandma at the time came out and was like, oh yeah, he was growing cannabis plants for his cancer, for his treatments and stuff, to help him with his relief of all the treatments that they were giving him. And she was like telling me how much it helped him, but he was a big influence in my life. He was one of my only family members that I actually can like really look up to. I grew up without a father, and so he was that role model for me. And that was the first time I actually saw a cannabis plant, to be honest. They were ratty looking plants. Obviously they hadn't been watered, but you know, it was kind of like I went back to Seattle, and I found out that the laws that were in California existed in Washington, and I knew a couple people with epilepsy and Crohn's disease and different stuff like that, and they qualified for the medical cards and stuff, and so I started helping them out. So the first grow I ever had was a buddy of mine was going to federal prison. He was helping patients, and he got rolled up by the feds, and he was going to prison, and so he needed someone to look over his grow. And so there was a little 5-lighter in a garage, and so I acquired that from him and started helping some patients locally around that time. He got out of federal prison, and it was literally like a year before legalization. I think he did 4 years in there, and when he got out, I returned it to him as like a 40-lighter. And so I made it bigger and better for him, and gave it back to him, and I went to the rec market. And so searched for buildings, just found out that you just had to apply for a grow license in Washington State. It was $140. Applied for a tier 3. You just had to have a property with a lease on it. Negotiated a lease to a bunch of TI money with my landlord, and they gave me a little bit of seed money, and then also money that I saved up in the medical market I just put into the rec facility. But we started with 45 lights, so it wasn't really, you know, that big of an operation, and every year we ended up growing and growing and more. And today we have 500 lights, but we started off about 7 years ago with 45 lights in the rec market. I think that people can relate to my story. I think that our culture is filled with stories like that. You know, hardships and overcoming them. I came from a single mom. My dad did a lot of time in prison. I never really knew him. I met him once. Yeah, no, cannabis, man, cannabis saved my life. You know, cannabis gave me a purpose. You know, all through my life, I didn't graduate high school. And so at the end of the day, like, I had a lot of teachers from where I grew up and my background. You know, you don't realize it until you get older, but people didn't believe in you. You had a few people believe in you, but people don't believe in you. People thought of, oh, he comes from a trouble home. You know, the cops are always there. There's always drama at that house. And when you don't graduate, they think that you're a loser. They think that you're gonna lose. I changed my stars. I had a lot of passion to want to change my stars and change my kids' lives. my future kids' lives at that point, but now I have kids. But and so that journey started at that point. I owned a detail shop, and then I owned an athletic club that I lost everything in. So I learned a little bit through business with that. And when I had my first growing the plant was so therapeutic to me that it really did save my life, to where I was depressed, I was broken down, I was feeling like, like probably everyone else, like that this world doesn't want them here, this world doesn't want them to succeed. But watching the plant grow and then producing a product that helps people, but also you get to see your fruit of your labor, and you also get to make money to help support your life, but also help people at the same time. Man, you don't need 1,000 lights to make a name for yourself. And just whatever you do it with integrity and do it the best you can do, and put your whole heart into it, and take every day one day at a time. You're gonna have losses, you're gonna have wins. Your wins, stack them. Your losses, learn from them. And you'll get there. You don't need to be there tomorrow. You don't need to be there the next day after that. Life's a journey. Just have fun with it, love what you do, and show up. That's it.